Welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, kindly like, share and subscribe to my channel. Today is going to be on how to draft, cut and sew a tube top. So right now already drawn out my lines on the pattern paper. So I have a video on how to draft your basic blouse bodice. So I'll be linking that in the description box, so you can check that out. So now I've labeled my lines as you can see here. So next thing now is I'll be taking the half of my bust pan measurement. So I'll mark it from the bust line to the blouse length. After that, I'll connect the marks together as shown. Now I'll come down by 1 inch from the bust line. Then on the under bust line, I'll be taking 1 inch on both sides as shown. I'll do same on the under bust, 1 inch on both sides. Next is to come up by 2 inches from the bust line. Then I'll be connecting my marks together as shown. So I'll connect it to upward to the 1 inch I came down on. After doing that now, next thing now is to measure up what I have, the distance between the bust line and the under bust line. So what I have there is 4 inches. I will take that 4 inches round as shown. The next thing now, you roll up your half of your bust pan line upward to that line as shown. Then whatever you took as the dart for your under bust, you take same measurement on that line. So if the bust is a small size bust, you take ½ inch on both sides. So but for this tutorial I took 1 inch on both sides just to enable the bust have enough room. So right now I will mark 1 inch on both sides of that line as shown. So I'll come up from the bust line, mark upward 1 inch. So I'll connect them now as shown. Please let me sincerely apologize for any background noise you're hearing. Please just concentrate on the tutorial. Thank you. So now if you want it to be a little bit higher, just measure up ½ inch from that dotted lines, or you mark 1 inch. You can take ½ inch up or 1 inch up, then you connect it as shown. But for my client, she wants it like this, so I'll be making use of what I already have there. Right now I'm placing the circumference measurement, so I'll be adding my dart intake as well. So that's my under bust, quarter of my under bust measurement plus 2 inches dart intake. Then I'll be putting 1/4 of my waist measurement plus 2 inches dart intake as well. Then on the hip, on the blouse length, I'll be imputing 1/4 of my hip measurement plus 2 inches for ease. Next is to connect the lines, the marks together as shown. So if you notice on this pattern, I didn't add any sewing allowance. I'll be doing that when cutting on the fabric. So what I'm doing now is just to blend up the armhole area. So that ends there. I can come up by 1 inch or 1.5 inches just to eliminate that sharp end. So I mark 1 inch upward. Then I'll rule a slightly curved line like this. Next thing now is to cut it out. You can use that part as a yoke. You can use a nude net, to attach it. But I'm making a tube. I won't be needing that up part. Now here's my center front and my side front. So when cutting on your fabric, you notch the bust point line and the under bust. So I'm marking it up. I'm marking it there so I'll remember to notch it. So here is my back panel now. I've already drawn out my lines. That's my zipper line. I'll just take my basic blouse, basic bodice measurement. So if you don't know how to do this, please check the description box. I'll be dropping the link. And also check my other videos on corset, trouser, palazzo pants. And if you have not yet subscribed, please hit the subscribe button and click on the bell notification so you get notified each time I put up a new video. Thank you. So here is my apex line. That's my bust, half of my bust pan line. Now I'll mark 1 inch downward. That's my chest line, bust line. That's my waist line, my blouse length. So that line I marked is under bust, but this is the back panel. We don't need under bust. So on the waistline, I took a dart of half of an inch on both sides. So on that blouse line, I came up by 2 inches now. So I'm just connecting my marks together as shown. Now is to take my circumference measurement. So on the chest line, I will be imputing 1/4 of my bust circumference. Same measurement I have there, I will apply on the bust line as well. So On the waistline, I'm imputing 1/4 of my waist measurement plus my 1 inch dart intake replacement. On the bust line, I'm imputing, so my measurements practically starts from that zipper line. So on the bust line, I'm imputing 1/4 of my hip measurement plus 2 inches for ease. Next is to connect the marks together as shown. Come up there by 1 inch. So from that part now, I'll be bringing the back neckline to be a little bit lower than the front. So I mark 1.5 inches from the chest line. I'll connect it to from that zipper end to the chest, so the armhole end as shown. So at this point, feel free to use whatever neckline you desire. You can use a V neckline, a round neckline. So here I'm using a slightly curved neckline. On that end, I'll mark in 1/2 inch. This is just to eliminate the bulge at the zipper area. I'll connect it now to the top as shown, upward rather. So here now we have it, guys, for the back panel. Here is my center back and my side back. I'll go ahead now and cut this out. So here is a full blouse. So if you want to attach a peplum, you just go ahead and stop the blouse on the half length, that's the waistline. But for this tutorial, is a full tube top blouse. So if you're making it as a dress, you stop it on the half length and attach the down part to it. Please, if you're enjoying this video, please give it a thumbs up, share this video with your soulmates, and let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I really appreciate you. I appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you so much for coming back to this channel. So right now I have my back panel and my front panel all cut out. So on that part, which is the side, I'm going to be adding 1 inch for sewing allowance. Over there I'll be adding 1/2 inch, there 1/2 inch. So on that end there, I will place my pattern paper on the folded end of the fabric. Then I'll be adding 1/2 inch on the top. Down there I've already added my hemming allowance. Then that's the zipper allowance. I'll be adding 1.5 inches, 1/2 inch over there and 1/2 inch there, 1/2 inch for joining both together, and 1/2 inch upward and 1 inch on the side. So I'll go ahead now and place it on my fabric and cut out my lining piece and my interfacing as well. And you can also use this pattern also to make a corset top. Here now I've cut out my interfacing, and this is how you cut your wording. So I've ironed my interfacing onto my fabric. That is my lining piece. Now I've finished joining them together. That's my front panel. So next thing to do now is to reduce the lining by 1/2 inch or by 1 inch. So here now I'm reducing my lining fabric by 1/2 inch. So I'll place my center back piece and my side back onto my side front as shown. Then I'll be sewing that up on 1 inch. I'll do same thing on that other end as shown. So here is my side back and my center back. I'll place it onto my side front, and I'll be sewing now on 1 inch from that up to the end of the top. I'll do same on that end as shown. So here is how to attach the zipper. See. Then place the same way I've joined my lining my main fabric. I went ahead to join my lining fabric as well. Now I'll place right sides together. So the first thing I'll do now is to sew them together on the hem by 1/2 inch. Once I'm done with sewing them on the hem, now I will place my zipper, leaving 1/2 inch on that end of the top. So you flip your fabric upward just to ensure your lining piece is on the same height or length with the main fabric. So you pin it up to secure it. So once I'm through with pinning it now, I'll just take it over to the sewing machine and sew on my zipper. When sewing, just ensure you're not sewing on the zipper teeth. So I've done same on that on both ends of the top. So I flip it out now. Here is how or what it looks like. This is what you should have. Once you're done with that, you can see how neat the tube top is turning out. So now I will bring it out now to the wrong side. So I'll be closing the top. I'll be closing the up or the neckline of the top on 1/2 inch. So just ensure that your sweetheart neckline aligns with both fabrics. So on that end, you stop sewing there and you leave open about 3 inches. This is where you put your hands inwards to bring it out on the right side. Next thing now is to notch the essence of notching is to enable your fabric relax very well. So I'll pull it out now to the right side. So you can go ahead and give it a good press. So on that part now, I'm using my hem glue to seal up that opening. So as you can see, all my stitches, all my side seams are inside this tube top. See how neat it is. So here we have it, guys. If this tutorial was helpful, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up, like, share and subscribe. See you again on the next one. Bye.